everybody. Welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to combine like two of my passions together, which is of course sports, specifically NBA basketball in this case, and then like fictional world building. So I was thinking, there's all this talk about expansion in sports. The NHL obviously just had a very successful round of expansion with the Vegas Golden Knights, the team that I root for in the NHL, who just won their first Stanley Cup after only 6 years in existence, and then the Seattle Kraken. And Seattle Kraken have cultivated a great fan base. They've made the playoffs. They're looking like a healthy franchise right out the gate. And of course there's been some talks about the NHL putting a team into Salt Lake City, maybe Houston, this, that, or the other. MLB has been talking about expansion, Portland being among one of the teams considered for MLB expansion. Personally, I hope they get it. And we know it's basically been all but confirmed that the NBA is going to be expanding into Seattle and Las Vegas within the next couple of years. So with all that, I was like, you know what? How would I do expansion if I was in charge, right? So that's what we're gonna look at today. So right now, you guys are gonna be looking at, this is a map of all the current NBA teams. As they stand at the moment, and when you look at that map, it is really crazy to see just how isolated the Portland Trail Blazers are. We really do travel more than any other team in the league. I think by a pretty wide margin as well. So, to start with some honorable mentions, cities that I considered, but that did not make the cut because I decided to only do a 4-team expansion here. So for honorable mentions, we have San Diego. San Diego does not have, they only have the Padres. I think San Diego definitely deserves, maybe get an NFL team back in their NBA. I think could be interesting. But the problem is California is such an oversaturated market as it is, so it makes it tricky. Vancouver, the Vancouver Grizzlies, personally, I like them much better than what they've become in Memphis. I think their designs were better. I think Vancouver was not given a fair shake as far as a NBA city goes. But unfortunately for this round of my fictional expansion, it does not make the cut. Montreal only has one team in the major 4 sports. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens, the most decorated and successful franchise in the history of the National Hockey League. They had the Expos for a little while, but I don't believe they've ever had an NBA team. I know they've never had an NFL team. And I think it's time, if it's not the MLB, maybe the NBA, but again, not in this round of my expansion. Kansas City, right now, I think that a lot of sports leagues are looking at Kansas City as a potential market to move into. They have the Royals, and they have the Chiefs, and they have an MLS team. But if I'm the NBA or if I'm the NHL, especially with how popular the Chiefs are right now, I'm kind of thinking, could they maybe support one more team down there? And last but not least, Pittsburgh, my final honorable mention. We know Pittsburgh is a die-hard sports town. The support that the Steelers get, the support that the Penguins get, to a lesser extent the Pirates, but the fact that the Pirates have been so bad for so long and they still have a decent fan base shows that Pittsburgh is a great sports city. So those are the teams that did not make the cut. Let's talk about the ones that did. First and foremost, obviously, because we already know this is where the NBA is going to be going, we have the return of the Seattle Supersonics. The Seattle Supersonics, I'm not really changing anything. Bring back the old logo. And I found these jerseys here. I designed some jerseys for all the other franchises personally, but I didn't think I'd be able to beat these ones here. These are ones I found online. I think these are a great set of jerseys for the Seattle Supersonics. It has, sort of that retro vibe, homages to the past, but a modern twist on that. Seattle has a city population of 733,919 people, but the Seattle metro area is 4,018,762. It is the 13th largest media market in the United States. The Supersonics were already a team previously. I'm sure most of you were aware of that. They were a team from 1967 to 2008. They won an NBA title in 1979. And they won the Western Conference Finals in 1978, 1979, and 1996. Some notable franchise players are Lenny Wilkens, David Thompson, Patrick Ewing, Gary Payton, Sarunas Marciulionis, which is like the Michael Jordan of Europe, just never worked out in the NBA, unfortunately. Ray Allen, Jack Sikma, Detlef Schrempf, and Kevin Durant. They already have an NBA-ready arena there, the Climate Pledge Arena. That's where the Seattle Kraken play at. And they've been doing the Rain City Showcase there already, showing that they can play basketball in that arena. Seattle already has an MLB, NFL, NHL, and MLS team. It is an amazing sports city. As much as a Portland sports fan, I'm like we kind of have a little bit of a rivalry with Seattle, but it's also kind of like weird because Portland only has the Blazers and the Timbers. It's like a lot of Portland sports fans are fans of the Mariners and the Seahawks as well a lot of the time, and I'm sure now the Kraken as well. But on a side note, Portland, I really hope Portland can get an MLB team, an NFL team, or an NHL team soon. I think within the next 20 years. Portland definitely deserves another Big Four sports team. But back in the day, the I-5 rivalry was lit. And as you saw on the map earlier, Portland is kind of isolated out there in the middle of nowhere. And they travel more than any other team in the league. Having another team so close would probably cut down on that travel. Especially because, with the franchises I'm proposing, we're probably going to end up having to put Memphis and New Orleans in the Eastern Conference. Either one or both of those franchises are going east, which again will make travel even easier. So first team, the most obvious one, we have the Seattle Supersonics. I didn't have to do anything for that one, but let's go to the first team that I had to make some assets for here. And we have the Las Vegas Vipers. Now Vipers, because there's this breed of vipers that lives, I think, exclusively in the Las Vegas area or Nevada. Plus you have the alliteration there, right? Las Vegas Vipers, 2 V's. So it just kind of made sense in my opinion. Then I have these jerseys here, the blue and this, the blue one, which is your home, of course, and then the gray away with the gold trim on As you can see, the tints of gold there. The Viper with the basketball logo, of course. Las Vegas as a city has a population of 646,790 people. The metropolitan area is 2,953,000 people. It is the 40th largest media market in the United States, but it is 6th in tourism for the United States. It is the 6th largest tourism city. So you're going to be getting a lot of overseas visitors, interstate visitors coming in. The team kind of becomes like a tourist attraction almost. We've seen that with the Raiders and with the Golden Knights. A lot of people coming just to see, you'll have fans from Edmonton coming down to watch the Oilers. You'll have fans driving over from Los Angeles to come see the Rams, in the NFL and the NHL, whatever. So we know that those tourism dollars are big money makers for these franchises here. We've seen the Golden Knights be successful in Las Vegas, the Raiders slightly less so. Also, a $10 billion NBA exclusive arena has already been proposed. But from what I could tell, there's been some setbacks with that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. But you have T-Mobile Arena and you have the Sphere, which is apparently basketball ready as well. Las Vegas already has the NHL and the NFL, soon to be the MLB. Although the move for the Athletics is kinda looking not 100% at the moment, but in my opinion, I think the Athletics move will end up going through ultimately. So you have the first two teams there, no real deviation from real life. We know Seattle's getting a team back, and we're like 99% sure Las Vegas is getting a team. But in this case, I just decided that they'd be the Vipers. Now this next city, this is where we get into uncharted territory. These aren't ones that are basically confirmed. This is a city, a franchise that I came up with. Completely, well not completely, some people suggested this, but I made the call on this one, and that is to put a team in Louisville, Kentucky. They're going to be playing in the Eastern Conference, so this is our first Eastern Conference expansion team. But they're just going to be called the Kentucky Runners, so you're going to have another, similar to Golden State, right? Golden State instead of San Francisco. Kentucky Runners, but they're going to be in Louisville. And runners, kind of like moonshiners, alcohol runners, kind of alluding to that Kentucky, that past of that state during the Prohibition era. One of the things it's most famous for. Louisville as a city has a population of 628,594 people. As a metro, 1,395,634 people. It is the 48th largest media market in the United States. But why did I go Louisville? Because it is a die-hard basketball city. It is a great basketball city with two amazing, storied basketball programs. The Wildcats and the Cardinals, right? If you look at the Louisville Cardinals, they have two NCAA championships in 1980 and 1986. Their 2013 title was vacated, so technically that doesn't count. They've been to 8 Final Fours, 39 Sweet 16s. They're tied 9th all-time for total titles, 6th all-time for tournament wins, 11th all-time for winning percentage. Now you come to the Wildcats. The Kentucky Wildcats have the second most NCAA titles of all time, only behind UCLA. They have 8 titles. The Kentucky Wildcats are the first program to get 1,000 wins and the first program to get 2,000 wins. They have more winning seasons than any other college program. And Louisville has no professional sports teams. I don't think the state of Kentucky in general has any professional sports teams. So I think, why not? You have this absolutely basketball crazy school or city, state. Imagine the first Wildcat to get drafted to the Kentucky Runners, or the first Cardinal to get drafted to the Kentucky Runners. Like, the state would get so behind this team. It's a state that loves basketball. To me, it feels like kind of a no-brainer. And now this last one. This one might be my most out-of-pocket choice yet, but I honestly, truly think that within the next 20 years, the NBA is going to put a team in this city that I say next. If the NBA doesn't, one of the other big four sports will. I think the MLB will also probably target this market that I'm about to say. But I'm being genuine here. I do think the NBA is going to put a team in this city. And this team going into the Western Conference, so 3 out of our 4 teams are going to be in the West. And this is why Memphis is going to the East, and New Orleans are going to the East. We're going to have the Mexico City Golden Eagles. Mexico City is a gold mine that North American sports have not tapped into. They have dipped their toe into the Canadian market. Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, right? Montreal. They've dipped their toe, but they've been reluctant to this point to go down south. But I think right now is the perfect time. Mexico just became the #1 trading partner of the United States, surpassing China. Our relationship with Mexico politically is stronger than ever, despite what you guys hear in the news. Trust me, United States and Mexico are like that. Mexico City has a population of 8.855 million people in just the city. The metropolitan area has 22,505,315 people. I'm going to read that again. The metro population of Mexico City is 22.5 million people. It is the largest city and most populated city in North America. It is one of the most important cities culturally, not only in North America, but the world. Mexico City has the 6th largest metropolitan population in the entire world. Which is nuts. It has the 2nd largest metropolitan in the Western Hemisphere by Rio de Janeiro. So the city itself, Mexico City, more populated than Rio, but Rio's metro area has more people. Mexico City is one of the richest urban areas in the entire world. The city has a GDP of $411 billion, and Mexico City constitutes 22% of Mexico's GDP. That one city, 22% of the economy. The NBA is already testing the market with the G League team, the Mexico City Capitans. And for US Sports League, it makes a ton of sense. The United States has the 2nd most Spanish speakers of any country in the world. So, Mexico, most Spanish speakers. #2, United States. And the largest diaspora of Mexicans outside of Mexico is the United States. I think I read 98% of Mexicans who leave Mexico move to the United States. They don't go elsewhere. There's less than 1,000 Mexicans living here in Australia. like they all live in the US when they leave. So it just makes sense. American sports teams, you have Mexicans, like all throughout the United States will be fans of this team. You have the language, to Spanish speakers all through the US. It makes, to me, it feels like a no-brainer. And like I said, I feel like either the NBA or the MLB will put a team there within the next 2 decades. And as you can see, the jersey here, the Golden Eagles, that is the symbol of Mexico. National pride. And you have the Aztec roots there as well on the jersey. But anyway, guys, those are my ideas. That's how I would do NBA expansion. Let me know what you think of these ideas, if you agree or disagree. Where would you put the next 4 teams? If you could put them anywhere in North America. Anyways, I'd love to hear any feedback in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.